So, hi, Lauren and Ankit, and welcome to this show. Your video is going viral across the world, but more so in India, where the Shehnai is something which has never been paired probably with a violin. So, we'll start with you, Ankit, because you are the Shehnai guy, and everyone has associated the Shehnai for ages with only one person, Bismillah Khan. And you are the next, kind of prodigy, for the Shehnai. So tell us about yourself and how the Shehnai is the most unusual of instruments to have someone playing and creating a profession out of it.
Yeah, thanks for having us on your show. So essentially, I'm Ankit. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and I was actually born in England. And I kind of got into music as a kid, just playing the keyboard. So I'm primarily a keyboard player, and I've always enjoyed the Shehnai, just the way it sounded and things like that. And I would say musically, I'm also more into traditional Indian music, like bhajan and things like that. I grew up a lot in the mandir, in the temple. So, sitar, Shehnai, santur, sarod, sarangi, those are all flute. Those have always been my favorite. And then as I got older, probably I was around the age of 30, and I really wanted to learn an acoustical instrument. Keyboard is cool, but it's just keyboard. It's an electronic instrument. I wanted to really branch out, and I picked Shehnai. I've always enjoyed it, so I found a guruji through a friend. It was very difficult. Now he's like one of my best friends. He's in Mumbai. And yeah, I basically have been playing it or learning it for about 7 years now. But for about 5 or 6 years, I really just practiced mostly. And then now I just kind of am using my fusion mind musically in terms of bringing it out, making it fun, making it creative. Because you're right, historically, Shehnai has been sort of a boring instrument. So people kind of see it in this new light, and it's exciting. So yeah, that's my story.
Ankit, it's really interesting that you could give a fresh twist, because I remember Ustad Bismillah Khan being the de facto player, or what people would play in weddings. But that was like around 20 years ago, and after that it kind of went out of fashion. But the way you've brought it back to life has re-energized Shehnai as an instrument, I think, and people would be more interested in it. So, Lauren, tell us about your, tryst with the violin. I understand that your story also, when you came in connect with the Indians, and you were teaching, some children, and they wanted you to play Bollywood instruments. But tell us from the beginning how you fell in love with this extremely tough instrument, actually, which bleeds your fingers when you start playing it, and you have to harden the tip of your fingers, because I've tried and I know how tough it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to start with as well. As a child, it can sound a lot like a cat. But I first started, I just loved music. We always had music playing in the house. And then I just, through school, you could get music lessons. And the first teacher that came to the school to advertise the instruments was a violin teacher. So that's why I picked the violin. I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah. I didn't realize that it's one of the most difficult instruments you can pick. But luckily, it's sort of in me that I'm quite competitive, and I like a challenge. So instead of playing out, I used to just want to practice the violin, much to my parents' dismay, probably at first.
No, probably to their delight, because almost everybody else kind of has to force their children to play the musical instrument, and they try to push their kids into piano or violin. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So lucky in that sense that I just loved it. Yeah, and it just took off from there, really. The obvious route to go down is obviously, because it's a classical instrument, you end up learning classical music. So that's why that's sort of where it started for me. And then I went to study at the Royal Northern College of Music, and I did a degree in classical music there. And then I decided that I didn't really love classical music. Like, I enjoy it and everything, but there's so much more out there. And that's how I got introduced to Bollywood. I was always interested in world music from all over the world. But yeah, my students really encouraged me into Bollywood, and there are some really good violin solos in Bollywood music, actually. And it just went from there, really.
So you say you're students, so you're a teacher as well? Do you teach?
Yeah, when I was doing my degree to fund myself, I taught some students in the area in Manchester, and it was just by chance that they were all Indian students. I think it's very popular in India, like everybody wants to learn the violin. And yeah, I was really lucky. I had about 15 students, and all their parents were asking me, can you play these tunes? And then when I heard them, I was like really interested in the sound, because I think it's really cool. And it's nice music. It's not like pop music where it's a bit more challenging and there's a bit more to it. So yeah, I just got into it through them, really.
So tell us the story about this viral video, Kya Bolti Tu, like, was it? How did you two get together? How did you're in the UK and Ankit is in the US? How did you connect, and like who came up with this whole idea about this? How did it all happen?
Ankit, should I start?
Yeah.
Okay. So essentially, so in America, I own a band called Jashan. And we do a lot of Indian weddings and parties and things like that. And Lauren, because she plays violin for a lot of Bollywood songs, also does events. And, you always stumble in the Indian wedding market. You always stumble across the same vendors or similar vendors, different places. So I guess somebody saw me perform, and then somebody saw her perform. So his name, actually, I don't know his name, or I forgot his name, but he owns an Instagram page called Banwala.
Yeah.
And right, yeah. So he was like, dude, you have to get in contact with her. So I guess he knew Lauren. He also knew me. So he just made the introduction, and that's how we met initially. And then I think it was during.
Did you physically meet, or was it like across? Okay.
No, we've never met.
This is during a pandemic. So.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, this is a virus branch.
Effect.
Yeah. Because essentially my channel really started during the pandemic. It was like, all right, I'm at home all day. Let me try to see what I can do. So essentially I was just doing videos and things like that. And then I guess he liked what he saw, and he was like, okay, you should do something with this girl. So we connected, Laura and I, we talked and everything like that. And then I just thought of an idea and rolled with it. Yeah. And this is where we are.
So you record it separately, and then the images are done separately, and then you merge it together. Is that how it's done?
Yeah. So essentially, it's a music video, right? I mean, think about when you watch any music video, they're not really singing, right? They're just miming it, essentially, right? But I think Lauren in Ae Kya Bolti Tu actually did play it live. She was just reading I gave her the notations, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that one I did.
Yeah, I think so. So kudos to her. She played it live on the spot, just knocked it out and sent it. Going back to violin being a tricky instrument, violin is extremely hard. I don't think it's super hard to get the sound, meaning to play. Obviously it is, but to pitch, like you have to have such control over pitch. There's no frets. There's no guideline, right?
Yeah.
So to be able to play that live was really amazing. But essentially, I'm just kind of experimenting in terms of what works and what doesn't work and things like that. So I always like when I start a project, I always like to think of the story, right? Like the message. Like you like this song and you just do it with a random person. Like Ae Kya Bolti Tu has like sort of a back and forth, like flirty vibe, you know?
Yeah.
So the So the look and the feel and the music needs to match that. I can't do Ae Kya Bolti 2 with some other dude. It wouldn't make sense, you know? So so all of the ideas or the concepts, at least, it starts there. It always starts with story and message. Like what are we getting out of this? And once you kind of have that, I believe, set in your mind, the rest is easy, is very easy. How to compose, which chords to use, how do you do the variations, what to play, when does she play, when do I play, how to make the video.
And the world needs to know that, Ankit, you're not a musician per se. You're actually a Google marketeer, and you have a company of your own in Google of marketing and ads and all.
Yeah, so I'm professionally an internet marketer. So a lot of this has been kind of fused together in terms of marketing and things like that, which has been a lot of fun. But yeah, I own a Google Ads management agency, so we're a Google partner.
You're being modest over here, but it's one of the really good ones out there, and you're pretty much awarded.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been doing it for about 15 years, and I have a good team, and we service home service contractors. We're what we call a Google Premier Partner. So you have Google partners, agencies, then only 3% of agencies are given a Premier Partner status, where you've met certain requirements where Google really takes care of you and trains you and gives you reps, and you can present on behalf of Google and things like that. So yeah, I've been a premier partner for a couple of years.
So Lauren, you're fully a musician. I mean, that's your life, right?
Yeah.
So you all, like, obviously the pandemic kind of changed your life a bit, but you've been all over the world. I understand you've been a couple of times to India as well.
Yeah, a few times. I think I've been 4 or 5 times to India, various different parts. I've been 4 times to the States. I love traveling, meeting people. My favorite trip last year was, I don't know, it's a toss up between, I was in Goa playing in I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like, Leopard Valley nightclub, it's called. That was so much fun. And then I was doing things like that, and then the following month I was in Miami, and wow. It's just it's exciting. Always been on the road, meeting new people, and sometimes playing for thousands of people. It's really fun. I miss it a lot now because I haven't performed for a long time, but yeah. I don't have one that stands out really, but every trip to India is always an experience. So, yeah, my fans, the Indian fans are the best fans. They are so passionate, and they're just so like interested in your music and what you do, and they are just the most passionate out of anyone I've played for, and just the trips there. I love the food, everything about it. I just love it. It's so much fun. People are so welcoming, and it feels like very homely to me now because I've been so many times. And like I said, I've got the YouTube channel. I just have the most amazing comments. I hardly get any I never get any negativity, and that's just so nice. In this world, that is really nice. So.
So Ankit, you said that this wasn't the only track that you guys have done. You've done other tracks as well.
Yeah. So it started with Ae Kya Bolti 2, and what happened during Ae Kya Bolti 2 is it's probably the most viral track I've ever made. One of them at least. But essentially, I was kind of still learning about music and copyright and stuff like that. And essentially, I guess somebody extracted it from one of our YouTubes and then just sent it on WhatsApp. And then we got it from so many people that, hey, this is going viral. So this was about 6 months ago. I would say July of last year-ish, maybe, I don't know. And it was going viral. Then I was like, man, I wish they would watch it on our YouTube, because like Lauren mentioned, she does music full time and she's on YouTube. So, it gives her more motivation to okay, I'm getting something out of this.
Yeah, money is a
Make
great
some-
motivation. I love it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What are the any future plans, individually or together, both of you?
Future plans. As soon as we are let free, I want to. I'll be traveling again, and I keep getting inquiries at the moment actually to go abroad, but obviously we're not allowed because of everything. So that's my main thing, is to get back on stage performing, and I'd like to branch out into after this sort of situation. I would like to branch out into recording, because I can do that remotely. So recordings, and just build on what I've already created, really, in terms of YouTube and a following, and keep putting good content.
So I know that you have an album as well, right?
I have an album, yeah. That's it's kind of, I've actually got two. I've got a download which is Bollywood only, and I've got another one which is like classical crossover. It's got one Bollywood track on, but one of my most popular ones. But other than that, yeah, it's a mixture. So I just keep creating, doing what I do. I just can't wait to get back to it, to be honest. I miss it so much, but yeah.
Great. And Ankit, what future ideas? You're the Shehnai guy or the idea guy? I get confused sometimes.
No, I don't. Well, going back to the last question, I just realized I didn't fully answer it. So essentially, so after that video went viral, we decided to make a couple more. I would say it didn't go as viral, but it definitely, the second one did, Chura ke Mera, that was a good one. Yeah, I've just been doing collabs. I'm more into recordings and stuff now. I would say Laura and I are a little bit different in there. I mean, live is cool. I'll, go and do it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I want to create unique content, unique videos, collab with different types of artists. Think of creative fusion tracks and things like that. So that's really what I'm trying to do this year.
Wow. So great. Thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Ankit. And you are absolutely amazing, both of you separately as well as you together. And you really, brought a freshness to music and a new perspective to it all. So great having you on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.